orientation to detail. I will drop in the link a handout. So this handout has a character and you guys will read and you do a little activity. And so you will do a little exercise about orientation to detail, because sometimes when you are working in with a company or to work in cloud to see what the client needs, or if there is a bug or a problem, or you have to solve a problem, it's like being in an emergency room. You have a bunch of things happening at the same time, people asking you questions, or you have to solve a situation right away. So it's several situations that you are going to encounter, and you have to be sharp. So this is one exercise to help you guys to familiarize with being sharp with attention to details. So we'll have two parts. The part one, it's your individual work. You are interviewing for a personal assistant role. You need to complete an interview task. So you guys will have 2 minutes to read the direction and 5 minutes to plan a schedule. Myra is the main person on the handout. So it's just a name, but you just need to plan a schedule for Myra. And the part two will be for only 4 minutes. You share your work with your peers, the schedule that you provided, and you point out your orientation to detail. And after sharing, the group selects the task output, which demonstrated the best orientation to detail. So here we will discuss the following questions. What is stood out to you in the most detail-oriented task outputs? How did the people who created the best outputs went about the process? What could you do to apply more orientation to detail if you did this again? And what have you learned here that you can use to apply this to your future role? So I'm going to drop on chat. So this is the handout right here. Can you guys see in my screen? Give me a thumbs up.
I see it, but while clicking on the link, it's saying I need to request access.
Yeah, it needs you have to give us an access.
Let me see here. How about when you click on the link on the chat?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I clicked on the link you sent on the chat and it's making me request access.
Yeah, it's locked. You see how it says only people with this change it. You think you gotta change the rights. Because I'm logged in with my rights.
I cannot change the rights. I don't have the rights to change it, but because it's from generation.
You can give me an access. I submit a request already.
Yeah, I cannot give you guys a request, but I'll share in this. Can you guys see in my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So here you have a schedule. Let me see something here. Let me see, I'm going to make a copy and see if I can share with you guys. Let's see if it works that way. Oh, Mark just mentioned, but I think I did that, Mark, before. See if
Well,
it's
on the screen, there's a little blue sentence that says
Change.
to anyone with the link. When you click on on the
On the
box
bottom. No,
the
you
left.
see to the left, to the
on the
left,
bottom
to
left,
the
there's a
left.
sentence in blue. The left.
Yeah,
No,
see here.
to the left of it. You're-
To make a copy.
No,
I
no,
saw-
you were in the right spot. You were in the right spot, but there's a blue little sentence. Click where you were, the same spot where you said share.
Pay attention because it is 2 pages. So we had it before, people doing all 1 page, but it is 2 pages in the schedule. So you guys will put a schedule for Mariah. You are being interviewed as a personal assistant, and she needs someone to create her a schedule for her. So keep in mind that this is just a few details, but that you're gonna have 7 minutes to do the task. So it is a little bit fast, okay? Okay, so on a Slack, if someone can put on a Slack for Deepa, I would appreciate one of the
Hey,
two.
Carmen, I've done that, and Mark also has posted it. Thank you, Mark.
Right, thank you, guys. So just to remind, you were interviewing for a personal assistant role. You need to complete an interview task. So you have 2 minutes to read the directions and 5 minutes plan and draft a schedule for Mariah. All right, everybody ready? So you guys can start now. It's 9:35 it's 8:35 at 8:42. We are done. Thank you.
So you have your specific time, so that's hard coded. So that's kind of easy, right? I can just go and throw those exactly when they said they're going to go do these things. There is a little thing called A, B, C, and D. Is it important and urgent? Is it important and urgent? I would write that down. Those are 2 words you need to know. That means that's A. That means it's got to be done first. If it's important and urgent to me, to what I need to accomplish as in work, it's the first thing I should be touching. If it's urgent, but it's not important, in other words, it's not really impacting me directly or my job, but it is an urgent matter, then that's B. That has to get done second. Besides the hard coded, we already said, of the times. Your next one, again, dealing with the exact same words, is C. Is now important, but it's not urgent. It is important to my job or my role or to me directly of what it has to do with me, but it's not anything urgent. That's C. And lastly is D. It's not important and it's not urgent. In other words, it's not something that's important directly with me and it's something that's not extremely urgent. What would be that? Sometimes they ask you to go to a little birthday gathering, maybe in the break room, for instance, and something that's not urgent, not important, but it's something that they asked you to go do, right? Just a little hint on how to look at these things and how they impact you, and sometimes on how you have to create order out of all this chaos.
Thanks, Diego.
Okay, thank you for
Okay,
that.
not a problem.
Thank you.
Not a
Thank
problem.
you.
All
Okay,
right, I
everyone.
just started the recording again. Go ahead, Carmen. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks everyone for participating. Can someone tell me what stood out to you in the most detail-oriented task output? What was one thing that stood out to you to do this task? Someone, a volunteer. Nathan, you are right here in front of me, my screen.
What stood out to me, making sure you set aside those 3 hours of work time. Make that a priority earlier in the day, so you don't have to rush in the evening.
All right. And can you pick someone else to answer the second question? How did the people who created the best outputs went about the process? Just choose someone
Mark,
in your screen.
Yes. The best outputs, well, I think we tried to, what I saw the person I was in the breakout room with was she just used like some logic about what would need to happen before something else could happen. So my partner had the person pick up groceries before coming home for dinner, because even though it didn't say it, we just made the guess that those groceries were for that dinner, not for the weekend party. So
Yes, a few things.
have the food before you get home.
Yeah, and you guys try to do the best to organize. Yeah, great. And what could you do to apply more orientation to detail if you did this again? Who could answer me that?
Can.
All
Um,
right. Hi, Tamer.
Hi. So a lot of the details were interesting because like if she goes to the store to get the appetizers but doesn't go home right away, where is she going to put the things that need to be refrigerated? So I had her do that before she took the kids to school. So you really have to go through every task and ask yourself what's going to happen after they do the task, and if they bought things, where do they go? And then it was also interesting, the little details like that the client meeting was not at the office. So then there was no way to get enough work done between that and the team meeting if she's going to be traveling, and you have to assume like maybe at least a half hour. So
Maybe it could be Zoom. Maybe she could do it Zoom. Yeah, it doesn't give all the details for every task. So
yeah,
some
you
of
have
the
to kind of
things,
visualize and figure out what those details could be.
and do your best. Yeah, and be fast and have critical thinking extremely fast and see what is priority. If you don't get everything on a schedule, get the most important topics and have some critical thinking to find out what is priority in this situation. Thank you. So what have you learned here that you can use to apply orientation to detail in your future role or your life? Because we use it for both professionally and personal life. Who would you like to answer that?
I can.
Oh, wonderful. Hi, Helena.
Hi. So we have to learn from this orientation. Like we have to make sure prioritize things. We have to make sure that urgency, and we need to make sure that whatever task we're taking, what's going to be next, as Tamara mentioned earlier. And since we do that, we have to know the consequence, what we need to do next and what's going to have to be. So again, it's prioritization and urgency.
Yes. Do
Yeah,
not
I also
panic.
heard some people saying, looking at the fine details, not just like finally just going really quick through it. You want to look at the details, as some of you pointed out. If you wouldn't read that correctly, I think one of you said the client meeting wasn't at the site. In other words, it's not there. She had to actually travel somewhere to get there. The other one was someone mentioned about the refrigerating or making sure that she picked up before getting home the actual food from the groceries. So the timing of it and exactly when to do it was looking and ensuring that you saw the details in there and not just glancing over it and assuming that you knew everything and what needed to be done. So that was very, very good feedback. I do appreciate that.
Yeah, and it was not an easy task. like I said, because it's so many different times, details, so much to think about and organize. It's not easy, and it was not meant to be easy, guys. I know some of you got frustrated, got a little bit into a panic, but this is a situation that we will encounter professionally in different areas that you guys are going to be working on. So this is just a little practice, a little fun practice that some, probably gave a little bit of panic in some of you. Yes, Sylvia, you have a question?
I have a question. I don't understand why this task is difficult, because we had only 8 items. We have to sort it by the time given, and then look on the gaps between that times and fill it with the extra task without time, and check if something depends on something else. So I think this was a very, very easy task. So I don't think we need to be very detail oriented to sort 8 items here.
Did you check both pages or you checked one page?
I checked the 8 items where we
Yeah, you
start.
only checked one page. See, that's our
Okay.
point. You just actually just hit the point right on the nail. Unfortunately, your orientation of detail, you missed 3 items. So you only planned 8 items for your boss, and you missed 3 of them. One was a parent-teacher conference with Nina at 1700. The other one was to call the mom. And lastly, you had 3 hours that you had to schedule of work time to review your budget for proposals, review some pitches, and something about a new design. You did complete the 8, which seemed obviously very simple, but unfortunately, your attention to detail did miss the last 3 that were in there. So this is one of the things that happens, is that your boss is going to come to you with run, 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 and I need this yesterday for last week. And you're like, what? And exactly the point. You don't have time. And unfortunately, with the amount of pressure that they put on you, the attention to detail comes into play, where you need to, unfortunately, somehow focus and try to, as she said, relax and calm yourself down in the scenario to be able to capture everything. Because yes, if you look at the 8 things, it seems very easy to be able to complete the 8, but unfortunately, there was 11.
Okay, you are right, because I read only we are working on session 1. I didn't work on session 2. Okay, thank you.
No, it's only. Oh, okay. I'm not sure which session you were looking at or what handout, but the handout was the one that she put in there, demonstrating orientation detail session 2. I'm not sure if you were looking at a different handout. Mr. JCL Roach.
Yeah, it's Jace.
Jace, I am so sorry.
Yeah, Jace. No, it's okay. I get it all the time. I just kind of wanted to answer Sylvia's question. I think it's not necessarily this is difficult in a way, but just to get you in the mindset of pressure, right? Like working in IT, everyone thinks everything is important, but or urgent to them, right? Because it's one person's computer not working for them. But if you have 18 computers down, like the pressure is different. 18 computers or the VP's computer, like that's a lot of trying to make thoughts on the fly. So I think it's just giving us in the practice of understanding how to do that.
Thank you.
That's all.
Yes, great point. Yeah, but even though people don't find it difficult, it is easy to make mistakes. And that's why, like you said, it's definitely not difficult, but to do it under stress, it is easy to make mistakes. And that's why the need for orientation to detail. And to close, envision yourself in your future doing this in jobs that you have a lot of responsibility, like project management, with extreme, that when you need extreme orientation to detail, accuracy as well for everything. It is a great responsibility, and with clients behind your back as well, demanding that you do the best of work. So this was just an exercise to familiarize in this situation, folks. And that's it. And thank you so much for everyone that participated. It was great. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. I'll be
So
stopping the recording
with,
there.
with that, I think we're done.